I think we're all here and ready to go. So hello again, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, where I will be introducing the next generation of Yealink desk phones. This is a really important webinar today, as these will be replacing two whole series of phones. So I will do my best to keep you engaged. Do ask as many questions as you like, and after the webinar, let's get you testing the new phones. The agenda for today is quite simple. I'll go through the new features of the T7 and T8 handsets and explain exactly what models they are replacing. I'll also give you an overview of the features of the new Wi-Fi handsets, a couple of reseller benefits for you as well that's worth making you aware of, followed by a Q&A session at the end. Speaking of Q&A, there is a question box on your right-hand side in the tabs. I won't be stopping as you go along, but do pop your questions in as you think of them. All of the questions will be answered at the end, and there will be time to ask more. I will hang on, so don't worry. A very small intro into ProView. I know most of you who are registered already know who we are, but there are a few of you that are new. So for those of you that are new, we are a distributor, but we are a distributor with a difference. We don't box shift anything and everything. We are specialists in our field, especially in the VoIP and connectivity world. And we pick and choose the products that we think are going to give you the best solution. With that, we then help you spec it, we configure it, we support it, brand it, everything that you need to make your deployment easy and simple. With that in mind, all of the additional support that we do provide means that the majority of the customers that we work with tend to be ITSPs, ISPs, MSPs, and hosted resellers. In terms of our relationship with Yealink, we began distributing their products in 2009, so we've been working together for about 16 years. And this was actually a sub-distribution relationship in the beginning, which meant we worked directly together but box shifted via the UK. But then in September, we announced our direct distribution. September last year, sorry. Over the years, we have developed our services to support the latest devices and firmware versions. So every handset that comes through our door, we can configure it for you. You can manage it remotely via our management portal. Every product that we get from Yealink, we thoroughly test to make sure that A, we're happy with the product and we're happy to sell it to you, and B, to make sure that we can give you the best level of technical support should you need it, be that for pre-sales or post-sales. This is the current portfolio as it stands from a handset point of view, with the T5 series being the premium IP phone range, the T4 series sitting below as the standard business phone range, which is the most popular among Yealink resellers. Plus you've got then the expansion modules for both of those. There is the entry-level T3 series. Below that is the full range of cordless DECT handsets, and to the right, the single-cell and multi-cell base stations to attach them to. And then lastly, you've got the Wi-Fi cordless handset and the audio conference units. Now, today the focus is going to be on the replacement handsets for the T5 and T4 series. These phones have been around for quite some time. And whilst the T4 series have been regularly updated over the years from P version to G to S to U, they still have the same look, so this will be a big change for some of you. But the change is good. There will be plenty of time, so there's no need to panic. Just remember that we are here to help with that transition. And the reason we're here today is to show you what that transition looks like and how ProView can help you. Also today, we will look at the new cordless Wi-Fi handset that has been added to the range. This is what the portfolio will look like once the transition has happened. So the T8 series replaces the T5, and the T7 series replaces the T4. The T3 series will remain as it is, as will the DECT and the audio conferencing. Now, the great thing about these two new ranges is that they will both support the same expansion module. So rather than having two, one for each range, like you had with the previous phones, you've just got one for all of them. So this is going to make it so much easier, not only just to sell, it'll make it easier to order once you've won the sale, but also easier if your customer decides they want to upgrade or change models in the future. It means you can keep the same expansion module. There is also a new Wi-Fi cordless handset that has been added alongside the AX83H, and that is the AX86R ruggedized version. Now, before I move on, I know on the slide it looks a lot tidier, and it looks like, and there are only 3 handsets pictured in each of the new range. However, there are a few variants within them, such as Wi-Fi versions and video. So there is actually 5 in each, but I will go through that in more detail soon. As a whole, both ranges are pretty much suitable for all different types of sites. So reception being an obvious one. with the option for lots of BLFs and the expansion modules, as I mentioned, but pretty much most offices, in retail stores, call centres, anywhere that you need a desk phone, really. Take a closer look now into the new features of these phones in the next few slides. We've got a mixture of hardware and software upgrades to go through. This slide here just gives you a brief overview, but I will explain all of these in more detail. Everything is updated to the latest technology and the latest look, so this should be a welcome change for you, and hopefully all these new features cover everything that you need in a desk phone. We'll start with the hardware upgrade. So the first obvious change is the design, which has been changed from an aesthetic point of view. So they're similar, all similar looking phones, and they look a lot more modern. The T7 and the T8 have the same design as well. So they all look very similar, just with different features, which makes it better when you're going to be mixing and matching models from both ranges in one site. Everything is still going to have the same look and feel. You've just got the different sizes depending on which one you've gone for. Some of the buttons around the screen are now touch buttons in the bezel rather than physical keys, which again gives it a modern feel. The BLF keys as standard are physical. And then, of course, you'll have the certain models where it's one big touch screen. So all the buttons are therefore on the screen, you don't have any physical keys. The T8 series has an adjustable screen just like the T5, but the hinge is actually invisible. So it should look less mechanical and more seamless, just tidying up the look a bit for you. All of the phones are on Linux 6.1, apart from the T88V. Which is on Android 13, and then with all of those we've got the TE hardware encryption. So that's the trusted execution environment, which is the secure area for the main processor, so it just helps to protect the code and data that's loaded inside. The phones that have built-in Wi-Fi all support Wi-Fi 6 for the faster speeds and greater capacity, and then the Bluetooth that's built in is Bluetooth 5.0, again for faster speeds, so everything should be up to date for you with the latest connectivity. The speaker on the phone is a 3-watt speaker, so if you want to talk hands-free, I don't know many people that do, but if you do, then you've got a loud enough and clear voice, making it easier to have these conversations. Next, we've got the software upgrades. So all these new models are more sustainable than the existing handsets. From a hardware perspective, they are all made from recycled materials, and then moving on to the software side, it's got intelligent out-of-hours power-saving mode to conserve energy, which means it can recognize your working hours to run with less when you're not working, or you can actually set a specific working hours so that when it's not being used, it will run essentially with less going on. This will make it more energy efficient, and both the T7 and T8 have been Energy Star certified. So for any end user sites where that kind of thing is really important, I know I often see it as a requirement in tenders, a certain level of sustainability, then these should have you covered. New phones are all over AI enhanced. So we've got the AI noise cancellation, which means it will take in all the sounds around it and then filter through to retain and only deliver the voice so that the user on the other side doesn't hear any of the background noise that it might have picked up. So similar kind of noise cancellation that you might expect in a headset, but you'll be getting that through a desk phone for the first time. We've then got the intelligent power saving that I mentioned, and there's also the adaptive acoustic shield. So all of this should give you the best sound experience using the handset. There is also an accessibility mode. So if you've got a customer who struggles to see what's on a handset, then you can adjust the font size to make it bigger. And you can also adjust the colors on the display, whether they're colorblind or just find it easier to see things in a certain light. I know everybody has their preferences. Finally, they've also redesigned the user interface to give it a fresher look and improve the workflow. So you can change it between dark and light mode, which is very similar to what you will have on a computer or if you're using Teams. I certainly, all the guys in my team prefer working in dark mode, so you can now actually do that on your desk phone. And then they've also introduced a BLF pop-up feature, which means you can have the BLFs show up on the screen as and when you need them, rather than sit there static on the side of your screen the whole time. That is pretty much it in terms of the new updates on the phones. I think the key takeaways here are the new slim and modern design. There's the latest connectivity and operating systems, the AI features for best audio quality, the new sustainability, and the new adjustable accessibility features. I'm not going to go through the next couple of slides line by line, but this is a comparison of the T7 phones. You've got the W variants in there as well, which have the built-in Bluetooth and built-in Wi-Fi. The U versions do support it. It will just be via a dongle in a USB port at the back. So we've got the comparison of these, and then a comparison on this slide of the T8 series. All of the ones in this series are have got the built-in W variant, so they've got the built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And then you can also get the T88W with either a cordless receiver or corded as normal. These next two slides show you what is replacing what. So the T73W will replace the T43U, the T44U, the T53W, and the W variant of that will replace the T44W. So those two variants of that T73U and T73W are covering 4 existing models, which is good because we're reducing the number of handsets that you've got to choose from. Next, we've got the T74U, which is replacing the T46U, with the W variant replacing the T53W. And then finally, the T77U replaces the T48U. Now, you may have noticed as well that there are no black and white phones in any of the new ranges. They are all colour, so any black and white phones that you're currently using now will be replaced by colour phones. On to the T8 series replacement, which is basically replacing the T54 and up. So the T85W replaces T54W, T87W replaces T57W, and T88W replaces T58W. So this one's a little bit easier. Obviously, we've got a lot more models that we're trying to replace with the previous range. And then, as I mentioned before, there is the cordless version of the T88W, which replaces the T58W Pro. And then they have a video option as well, which will be the T88V. I've got a diagram here as well, which essentially shows you everything I've just shown you, but all in one page, which you may find useful or slightly easier to understand than the previous two. So I can send either of these to any of you if you want. Just pop a message and let me know. The next two slides are to go through the Wi-Fi handsets. We've got the AX83H, which some of you will already be familiar with. I know with lots of customers already buying those, they're flying off the shelf. And then there is now the AX86R, which is the new ruggedized Wi-Fi handset. These are both Wi-Fi 6, giving you faster speeds and wider coverage, and they support seamless roaming in between the access points, so you shouldn't find that you're getting any dropped calls. Then the setup is really easy, so you can do that with your smartphone by scanning a QR code, and then once you've got one handset set up, you can do a batch deployment on the rest so that you're not having to sit there doing it one by one. The ruggedized model, different to the existing one, has alarm features, especially as it would often be used in sites that it could be needed, such as warehouses, factories, garages, etc. So there's an emergency button on the bottom, that red button there, which is what you'd expect from a handset like this. But then you've also got the option to turn on auto detect alarms. So it's got 3 types of alarms where it can signal an alarm to your designated endpoint if it detects that the user is running with the phone. So perhaps they're running from a burglar, or maybe they're running to help somebody. It can auto detect if the user has fallen over, and it can also auto detect if there has been no movement for a period of time. Now, you don't have to use these, you can choose to have them on, but they are there if you need. And whilst the AX83H, obviously being an office handset, doesn't have these features, nor does it have a dedicated alarm button, you can configure the transfer key to be used as an alarm button. This is the comparison between the two key differences on the AX86R is obviously the IP rating as it's ruggedized. It's got an acoustic shield as well as the AI noise cancellation. So we've got slightly better audio quality on that than the AX83H. But again, that's something we'd expect because it's being used in louder environments like your warehouses and things. It's got the acoustic shield as well. So that's where it's going to stop picking out sound outside of a certain diameter. We've also then, in comparison on the AX86R, got a higher battery life and the emergency features that I just mentioned. Then before we finish and go on to the questions, I just wanted to draw your attention to some benefits to you as a reseller of Yealink. So there is a project registration program where you can get a certain level of discount from Yealink on top of any discount that ProView give you. So this will depend initially on the volume, as you can see. There is then additional support if you're using certain models in the project, like the multi-cell DECT and Wi-Fi handsets. Plus, then there's even more support if it's specifically for public sector. And then any support that we get given from Yealink, however many percent that is, we pass that on to you guys and then add as much as we can on top from our side. So any deployments that you've got for 50 handsets or more is definitely worth speaking to us. We'll register it. Not only will that secure the pricing support from Yealink for you, but once you've registered it, you are protected from anyone else who tries to do the same, as they're not going to give the same price support to someone who registers the same project if they weren't first. And lastly, as we do with all new products, we have an NFR not for resale program running at the moment to give you the opportunity to test the products without paying the full price. It's quite a big discount, so it's 80% off the RRP. We can obviously, I've not got the prices here, but we can obviously tell you that if you want to give us a call. It's on all of the T7 and the T8 models that I've shown you, plus the AX86R Wi-Fi handset. Now the T7 and T8 NFR offer will be running until the end of November, and the AX86R will be until the 15th of November. So if you do want to test any, you can get more than one model. You can get as many as you like, as long as it's not more than one of each. So if you're interested, just contact our team and they'll be able to help you get an order placed. And feel free, whilst you're there, to pick their brains on any recommendations or suggestions. If you're not sure, or if you've got a specific deployment or projects you need help with, then our project manager will also be able to help you with that. And that's it for today. So obviously kept it really short and sweet, only two main topics to talk about. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight as to what's happening with the new handsets. And we'll now go through some questions. So I can see a few have come in whilst I've been talking, so I'll start with those first. So first question was, can the BLFs be displayed all the time on the phone rather than some of the time? So I'm guessing that'll be in reference to when I talked about the BLF pop-ups, and the answer is yes. So you can have it to just sit there all the time like you would expect standard with phone, but you've got the option to change that and have it work differently. So it's completely up to the user how they want that to work. Second question, do we know when they are due to be supported by 3CX? I don't have the date of that to hand, so I will actually need to find that out and come back to you. Obviously, they will be listed on their website as soon as they are, but I'll see if I can get a date and let you know. The next question is there an end-of-life schedule for the T4 and T5 series? So there is. It's not as quick as it has been with the previous end-of-life notices. Obviously, they're very aware that there's a lot of these phones out there and people who've been using them for quite some time. So we are certainly still ordering all of those existing phones at full capacity. The plan is to make them end of sale sometime next year. I think it was probably maybe around about March time. So we're expecting to be able to order all the phones at least up until then. Obviously, we then keep quite a number of months worth of stock, but we are already starting to order the new phones, not at the same volume, obviously, because it's going to take some time to transition. But I would say by sort of late to end of next year, I would expect the transition to have fully completed. Next question, 3CX SBC capability. I'm probably not the best person to talk to you about that, but I will get Jason to give you a call because he understands that better than I do. So I've got your details there, and I'll get him to give you a call specifically. Also being asked the handsets. Oh, somebody very kindly has just dropped me a message saying that the handsets are supported by 3CX in the latest beta release. So in answer to that previous question, they should already be supported, but I will just triple check that anyway, just to be on the safe side. I've been asked when will the new handsets be available. So we do already have some in stock. So we have launched that NFR offer, and we periodically every month we do have more coming in with slightly more in each order. So so you can already order these now if you want to test or if you're looking to move. Our next question is, can we use the Wi-Fi handset on 3CX? The answer is yes, as that one is already supported and listed. And I'll just hang on for a couple of moments, a minute or two, in case there's any more questions. But in the meantime, we do have our email address there. With that email, you'll reach our technical sales guys, Ren and Jason. Jason also looks after our projects. So if you've got any questions, whether it's about features, compatibility, if you want to talk about a specific project, then drop us a line to that email or give us a call on the main number, and the sales guys are through option 1, and they'll be able to help you with all of that. In the meantime, if anyone would like a copy of the slides, there will be a recording issued, but if you'd like a copy, then just drop us an email and we'll be able to get that to you as well. I don't think there's any more questions coming through by the looks of it. I appreciate everybody for hanging on throughout the Q&A session, so that's great. Thank you very much. Like I said, any other questions, just give us a call, drop us an email, and we'll help you. But hopefully that's been beneficial to everybody that's joined today and gives you clear an idea. And like I said, do give us a call to pick our brains. That we're more than happy to run it through with you in detail, more than happy to arrange a session with you and your sales team if you'd like us to go through it. We can also get Yealink involved. So we are there to help to make this as easy as possible for you. So for now, I guess I will say thank you and goodbye. Thanks for joining.